Greetings, this is your public speaking instructor going over your weekly update for week 4 and module 4. As you can see, this week we run from June 8th to June 14th at 11:45 p.m. and this module will help you in preparing for your first persuasive speech assignment. An overview for this week, you will of course be going over the first learning unit, which discusses the first persuasive speech. You will be going over the learning unit for chapter 14, which talks about understanding principles of persuasive speaking. You will be going over the learning unit for chapter 15, which talks about using persuasive strategies. And you will be going over the learning unit for chapter 10 on using words well. Again, I recommend working through the learning units in the order in which they are listed because this is how we teach the chapters in the classroom. However, you can work through them in any order that works best for you as long as you complete all of the discussion board posts and assignments that are due. Important due dates to remember for this week. As always, on Wednesday, June 10th at 11:45, the specific purpose and central idea assignment for the persuasive speech topic is due. Following that, on Friday, June 12th at 11:45 p.m., you will need to have a draft outline due. There is no excused draft outline this week. That was only a grace that I gave last week due to the midterm exam. On Sunday, June 14th, module number 4 should be completed. Any discussion board posts and learning activity assignments needed to be uploaded. And then, of course, by Sunday, June 14th at 11:45 p.m., your first persuasive speech needs to be completed. As a reminder, the only assignments that are ever due early are the specific purpose and central idea assignment and the rough draft outline. Let's take a look at what will be due in regards to assignments this week. Again, you have the specific purpose and central idea, which is due on Wednesday, the draft outline, which is due by Friday. You have an assignment that corresponds with chapter 15 and understanding Monroe's motivated sequence. That is not due until Sunday. And you only have one discussion board post, which corresponds to chapter 14, which again is not due until Sunday. Let's take a look at the first persuasive speech. The first persuasive speech needs to be 4 to 6 minutes in time. Again, if you go over, you are docked, and if you're under, you're docked. So make sure you practice your speech out loud. That way you accurately know if you have too much information or too little information and need to adjust. The purpose is to persuade. You must do a proposition of policy. Please make sure you read over chapter 14 so you understand this. In essence, you need to convince your audience to take a specific action to a solution to solve a problem. In essence, you're going to persuade your audience that they should or should not do something to help solve a problem. The organizational pattern we will be using for this speech is called Monroe's motivated sequence. So just like for your first informative speech, I required everybody to do a process speech that was chronological. This time for the first persuasive, I am requiring everybody to use an organizational pattern called Monroe's motivated sequence, and it will be a policy speech for your persuasive. You will use effective motivational appeals, supporting material, and delivery techniques. For your supporting material, the guidelines stay the same. You must use a minimum of 3 different sources. From those 3 sources, you will have 5 pieces of supporting material in your speech, meaning you will state your supporting material out loud 5 times during your speech. Again, when you cite your supporting material, make sure you have all the proper information in your oral citation. Include the source, the name of the book, newspaper, magazine, or person if quoted. The credibility. If it's a quote from a person, we must know the credibility of a person. Are they a peer or an expert? Or if you say according to the Gazette, how do we know what the Gazette is? You need to say according to the Gazette, a newspaper out of Philadelphia. That way we have some context. And then of course the date. The date of the newspaper or the magazine, the date you interviewed the person, or the date you found the information online if no other date is available. There are 3 different types of persuasive speeches. Just as there were different types of informatives, object, person, place, event, concept, or idea, there are different types of persuasives. There are persuasive propositions of fact, which focus on whether something is true or false. You're not doing that for this speech. That's an option for the next speech. There are propositions of value, which calls for you to make a value judgment of whether something is right or wrong, fair or unfair, good or bad. Again, you're not doing this yet. You may do this for the next speech, but not this speech. There are also propositions of policy, which advocate a change in a policy, procedure, or behavior. This is what you are doing for your first speech. I am requiring that everybody does a proposition of policy for persuasive speech number 1. Again, you persuade us that we should or should not take a specific action to change the policy, procedure, or behavior. Again, you are required to use a specific organizational pattern. This organizational pattern is called Monroe's motivated sequence. We use this because it follows the natural thought process of humans in making decisions. It is a 5-step sequence. That does not mean 5 main points, it means 5 steps to the sequence. There are only 3 points in the body of the speech. Let me show you an example. Step 1 of the sequence is called the attention step. This is no different from any introduction you've given. You simply need to grab your audience's attention. Use a strong statistic, a powerful quote, share a story for imagery. The next step is where you talk about the need or the problem. This is point 1. In point 1, you do not give away the solution. Do not tell me what you want me to do. Here, you need to prove that there is a need or a problem. You need to create cognitive dissonance. You will read about cognitive dissonance in chapters 14. In essence, what it means is you make the audience feel uneasy about the situation. So for example, let's say you want to persuade me to donate to a food bank. You don't want to give that away in point 1. In point 1, all you want to do is focus on the problem of hunger in the community, statistics about how many people go without food. Really make me feel bad about the current situation, so then I am persuaded in step 3 to follow your solution. Step 3 is the satisfaction or the solution step. This is point 2. In point 2, this is where you tell me what action you want me to take, what you want me to do, and prove that your solution will help solve the problem that you just presented. Step 4 is considered visualization. This is point number 3. In the visualization step, you reinforce your issue with positive and negative motivation. Positive motivation tells me all the benefits if I follow your solution. If you follow my plan, here are all the positive outcomes. So if I follow your plan of donating food or my time to a food bank, you'll tell me all about the benefits and how many people I will help. The negative motivation are not the side effects or the difficulties of your solution. No. The negative motivation is simply saying, if I don't follow your solution, these are all of the consequences. People will remain hungry. The problem will only get worse or will remain the same over time. So positive motivation reinforces the benefits of your solution, and negative motivation are the consequences if we don't follow your solution. And then step 5 in the sequence is call to action. This is in the conclusion and similar to your memorable ending. This is where you tell me exactly where to go, who to contact, etc. Maybe you give me the name of a website. Maybe if it has to do with changing a policy or a law, you tell me which senator, congressman, or city council member that I need to access. Maybe you want me to sign an online petition. But the call to action is physically helping the audience know what to do. Because if you leave it up to us to research it and do it on our own, we probably won't. So you have to tell us specifically where to go and what to do. The specific purpose and central idea reports look a little bit different now. Now you have to create a proposition for what you are persuading. My next slide will show you exactly how to write the specific purpose and central idea. Here's an example of a policy speech using Monroe's motivated sequence. The topic is blood donation. The general purpose is to persuade. So the specific purpose would read, to persuade my audience to donate blood. That's the specific action I want taken. The central idea is the argument. You should donate blood because, and then you mention a benefit if or a consequence if the problem is not solved. In this example, you should donate blood because it will help save lives. Maybe another example is, you should volunteer time to persuade my audience to volunteer time at a homeless shelter. You should volunteer time at a homeless shelter because it will help people who are in need. Think about what you'd like to see changed within your community, in your state, or maybe if it even is an international issue. But think about things right here at home. You can persuade me to donate to a local organization. You can persuade me to volunteer time. You can persuade me to help with big brothers and big sisters. You can persuade me to recycle to help our world. You can persuade me to eat organic or go green or bicycle. Whatever it is that you feel passionate about. If you have any comments or questions, please don't hesitate to contact me. Good luck this week.